It's your boy, Amreezy, and I'm back with another Road to Sorare Boss episode where we follow my journey in the wonderful world of Sorare. I show you my lineups, I show you how I did the previous weekends, who I'm going to be playing the coming weekend, what cards I've been buying and trading, all of that good stuff. If that sounds like your cup of tea, get comfortable. If you could give me a like and a subscribe, helps me out massively, encourages me to keep doing these videos. Really appreciate all the support I always get each week, the likes, the comments, the subscribes. It's all great. Keep it coming. Every Thursday I do these videos. Road to Sorare Boss episode on Mondays. If there's been a Premier League weekend, I do a live video where I review the Premier League's weekend, all the games, what that means for Sorare. So if that sounds like your cup of tea also, do join me for those on Monday. But this week, we're going to be looking at my weekend where I won a card. I won a little cash prize, $25. Not crazy amounts, but, I'm still at that stage as a Sorare manager where, the smaller amount of cash prize, even if I won $5, I get excited still. Like, that $5 to me, that's a Premier League mid-range card. That's someone like Jacob Murphy or Ismail Assar at Crystal Palace. Spoiler alert, he's one of my new cards that I've bought this week. So yeah, won a nice little cash prize. That was nice. And a card. So let's start there. Let's start by looking at my lineups from the weekend just gone in the wonderful, fun, exciting, great world of Sorare. Okay, so before we look at how I did last weekend, let's have a quick little mention of the midweek that's currently active, currently live. There's Champions League football and Europa League football. I don't have a Champions League goalkeeper anymore. Now that Monaco have been knocked out, they were my only Champions League goalkeeper. So I put a DMP goalkeeper with some Barcelona players to hope that the Barcelona players all smash, which they didn't. Lewandowski, Olmo came off after 25 minutes because Barcelona went down to 10 men. So Olmo got subbed, which wasn't great for this lineup. But to be honest, the only kind of semi-chance I have a reward of midweek is Chelsea, who later today are playing Copenhagen in the Conference League. And I'm not confident of a reward here, mainly because I don't have a Sanchez card. I only have Jorgensen, and I don't think, because in the Conference League, in the games so far, in the kind of group stage, it was the backup goalkeeper being played. So by that logic, Sanchez should play now in the Europa League, now that Jorgensen has become the Premier League goalkeeper. The only thing I don't quite know is if Chelsea are going to play the A team now. Now that it's the knockout rounds, are Chelsea going to play the A team? So the lineup that I've put out this week, I could have played the B team players like I've been doing so far. But because I don't have the B team goalkeeper, I thought I might as well gamble that Chelsea are now going to play the A team. So I've gone for the A team. I've gone for 5 of the A team: Palmer, Jorgensen, Cucurella, Fernandez, and Pinetto, who are all in the current Chelsea A team. But my instinct is that they're not all going to play, especially the goalkeeper, Sanchez. It just feels like the kind of game where, especially because Jorgensen hasn't been that convincing in the league, it kind of feels like if he can give Sanchez a chance, if Sanchez then does well, Sanchez then becomes the Premier League goalkeeper. So yeah, I'm not really confident about winning anything midweek. So let's have a look at how I did last weekend, where I did do okay. There was an all-star competition where I came close. Unfortunately, in this lineup, Montez didn't play. Alan Montez at Necaxa is a real interesting case at the moment, where he's this amazing defender. He's been in the first team for Necaxa for the last couple of years. Last season, he was one of the best defenders in the league. Every time I watch him, he's only 23 years old and he's an amazing defender. But for some reason, I think he's fallen out with the manager. I think there were rumors before this current Mexican season started that he wanted to leave, and there was interest from Europe, that European teams wanted him. He didn't leave, and I think there was some kind of bitterness there, and he's now not a first-team regular. He came off the bench last week and scored, so I thought maybe this week he'll get a start again. He didn't, so that let me down there. This lineup wasn't so great as well. Then we go to La Liga in season, where we did get some juicy rewards. We won a 5 essence with this lineup. Dani Rabah, Jordan, Dimitrovic, Gonzalez, and Rafinha all kind of putting 60 plus scores, which wasn't enough to win cash, but was enough to win some essence and sort of stay in the division. Then we go to this lineup where it was much better scores. This is the lineup where I won $25 cash. Casado scored basically because Casado scored, probably gave us the $25. If he hadn't have scored, we were only 4 points ahead of $25. So yeah, Koundé, Lewandowski and Olmo all doing well. Olmo's having a nice run of form at the moment, and he's great for me because I don't really want to spend 40 plus pounds on Pedri, who is kind of the best scoring Barcelona midfielder. So my kind of approach is to play Rafinha, Lewandowski and Olmo as my midfielder. And at the moment, he's going through a good run of form, so that's good. Severa could have done a bit better at Alaves. They did draw to Mallorca, which, I really want Alaves to start picking up some form because they're in a relegation zone. I've got a big chunky Alaves collection, I think almost at 4%. So I need Alaves to start winning games. They're not doing that. I keep saying it each week. When are Deportivo Alaves going to start winning games? It's not looking likely. It looks like I might have a contender classic collection for next season. But yeah, that team did okay. And then there was a third in-season La Liga lineup, which is mainly just to build the XP because it was a DMP goalkeeper in Division 3. Then there was a warm-up league where my one contender card didn't play. MLS in season let me down. Messi didn't play. I saw a lot of people who actually play MLS in season more seriously, who were all let down by Messi this week. So my Messi worries are pale in comparison to them. Then we go to the very annoying case of Monaco at the moment. It's really hard to predict the Monaco starting lineup. So I put this 5 out this week. Singo didn't play. Kamara didn't start. He came off the bench. So I had 2 players in the starting lineup who weren't playing. They win 3-0, which is really annoying because if I'd have got the starting defender, if I'd have gone for a starting midfielder, I might have done better here, but it's not going to get any easier this weekend. This weekend, I've been reading Monaco predictions and it's all over the place. People don't think Kamara is going to play again this weekend. I don't quite know why, because he's amazing and he was on a really good run of form. Singo is a great scoring defender who came back from injury, so I don't quite know why he's not starting games. Kera did come back in the team, so I think I'll go for Kera again this weekend. Then there's the case of the left back, Caio Henrique, who's really good this weekend, and I have a Caio Henrique card. If I'd have gone for him, we would have had a really good score this week, but Monaco are a really annoying case. The good news for me is Mika Berth is in ridiculous form. I bought his card after his first game at Monaco for about £10, and since then his price has gone ballistic, his scores have gone ballistic. This is his 3rd hat-trick since joining in January. It's ridiculous. His 3rd hat-trick, I think, all in home games. So yeah, Mika Berth, again, and very annoyingly, he went off in this game injured at the end. He got substituted in, I think, around 80 minutes. So he's a little bit of a doubt for the weekend, but not enough of a doubt that I can't play him. I have to play him. I can't risk him. So yeah, Monaco, very frustrating team at the moment. I'm just hoping the lineup settles and I kind of know which 5 to pick. But at the moment, I'm kind of gambling Bereth, goalkeeper, and then these 3 cards. It's a gamble. Then we go to a very curious, my most strangest lineup of the week. I won a tier 3 card from a Challenger Classic lineup that had 2 red cards. Emmanuel Dennis and Christian Ravic both got sent off, but I still managed to finish 71st and win a tier 3 card, which is ridiculous. I still don't fully know how. It was a Division 3 lineup, but how? 2 red cards. First of all, 2 red cards in one lineup. I don't think I've ever had before. 1 red card's fairly rare. 2 red cards in one lineup. And then to win a card and finish 71st in any competition is ridiculous. So, yeah, I've got Mario Lemina to thank for that. A goal, and Lemina moving to Galatasaray is looking like a really good move for me. He seems to be in the first team now. He seems to be getting involved a lot, assists and goals. And I've got that Wolves collection, I think at 5, almost at 5%. So I've got that, and I think it's at 4% now. It will hit 5% maybe in a month or so. But yeah, Lemina, a great move for me. That he wasn't even playing for Wolves, but I had him as a collection piece Now he's playing in the Turkish league, a great contender. And because I won a contender card, I've been picking up a few... Oh, sorry, I said contender. I mean challenger. I've been picking up a few challenger cards from either I've won, I think, 2 now. And I've got a few like Dennis from my Nottingham Forest collection, Lemina from my Wolves collection. He's now playing for QPR. He's now playing for Galatasaray. So all of a sudden, I'm in danger of having an in-season challenger team. Now, annoyingly, Dennis got sent off and he's my only challenger striker. So I can't put a team out this weekend in season. But going forward for the rest of the remainder of the season, I should have a challenger in-season team now, thanks to collection pieces and thanks to rewards won, like this tier 3 card, which I'll show you in a bit. Yane Stukas, one of my favorite cards, captained him, did well again. Bilal in goal, quite a good score from him as well. So these 3 cards kind of did well and saved my 2 red cards. And yeah, delighted to get a tier 3 card from 2 red card lineup. That's ridiculous. Then we go to contender in season, where I won 5 essence from basically my Necaxa boys. Lost to Tigres. I was saying last week, Tigres have been on a bit of a bad run. Necaxa have been on a great run. It was a good game. It wasn't like Necaxa have suddenly become bad. I just think Tigres turned up. Like, Tigres had to turn up. They've been in a bad run. They had a wake-up call. And Plavecino still scored. Paradella still assisted. A bit of a quiet game from Cambindo, but, you know, he's still looking good this season. So, happy with my Necaxa collection. Still going to be playing them for the remainder of the Mexican season. And POV, always a Mr. Reliable. Probably should have captained POV because he was playing Mazatlan. The only reason I didn't captain him was because he was away. But I think Paradella also did well, so not the end of the world. So yeah, that was a good score for my contender in season. I put 2 contender in season lineups out there. Now that I've got more Necaxa cards, I can play contender in season a bit more seriously. And this lineup also won 5 essence, with the Atlas boys doing quite well. Aguirre's back from injury, doing well. Dorian, the goalkeeper. Brunetta, nice score from him. Captain the right player. So this lineup did quite well and got me some more essence. Then Contender Classic wasn't that great. Got relegated from this lineup because goalkeeper didn't do well. Churro Sanchez didn't do well. This lineup did okay. I went for Santos. Santos are playing well. They did lose 4-2, but it was against Sergio Ramos's Monterrey. They did score twice, and I am still quite quietly encouraged by how Santos are playing again. They won the game before this, and then this is Monterrey away. It was a tricky game. I did well not to get relegated, to be honest, with these kind of scores. I'm still going to be sticking with my Santos boys. They've got a better home game against Leon this weekend, so I'm going to hope they do better this weekend. Under 23s and then a Europe. So they were my lineups this weekend. There was no Premier League in season last weekend, so I had a reduced amount of lineups out. Let's take a look at the cards I've been buying. So these are the cards that I've been buying and trading since last week's video. The last card I bought was... Who was the last card I bought? So last week I was showing you that I've been buying this Necaxa collection, Cambindo, Plavecino, Unsign, a Santos card. So I've been building my Mexican in-season contender cards up. Most of them for like 30p. Most of them very cheap. So I think this was the last card I showed you I bought. Mayorga for this Necaxa collection. Since then, I won Mateus Nunez. So I won him from I can't even remember which lineup I won him from. But yeah, I won a Mateus Nunez, which is quite interesting because he played the last game against Tottenham. And there was a period earlier in the season when he was playing every game and doing quite well. And I kind of think with the way Man City's season's going, maybe Pep's going to think, well, it's pointless playing Bernardo Silva anymore. It's pointless playing Grealish. I might just play Nunez for the remainder of the season. We're out of the Champions League. We're out of some of the cups. And then just build his confidence for next season, maybe. So I'm going to hold this card because I've also got Foden in Classic and I've also got Savinho. It's both. Sometimes he's written as Savio. Sometimes I see him written as Savinho. So I've got 3 Manchester City midfielder cards who I'm just going to hope Nunez now becomes first team because he played the last game. He didn't play the previous 4, but then he did play a lot here. So we don't really know what Pep's doing. His card isn't worth that much at the moment because nobody really wants Man City cards. So I'm just going to hold this card and hope he plays. And if he does, and if ideally, I would like the midfield 3 at Manchester City to be Foden instead of De Bruyne, Nunez and Savinho on the wings. That would be perfect for me because I've got those 3 cards. So I'm going to hold him because I won him, and I like to keep cards that I win because why not? Why not? If they ever become great cards, it'd be nice if you could say you won him and then he became a great card. So yeah, won this Nunez. I then picked up a Gorian card who is injured at the moment, but the rumors are he's going to come back any week now. So I picked up a Gorian card for like 90 something p. Because people are like, oh, he's injured. I want to sell. But when he's fit, he's worth about £4, £5. So I picked him up because he's on the low. And I think, Gorian's an amazing player in Liga MX, one of the best midfielders in the league. So I had to have him. And then I picked up another Necaxa card for my Necaxa collection. And also a defender. So I've got this guy who's a defender, this guy who's a defender. It's really hard to kind of work out who is a Necaxa defender, but when Necaxa have a good fixture, I want a playing defender, and if it's not going to be Alan Montes, who I did also pick up. I did pick up an Alan Montes for 16p, not because I expect him to play. I bought him because A, he helps him in the Necaxa collection, but B, he's so good, and at some point he'll be playing for someone. It may be next season, he may be a classic card next season, but he could go to any team in Mexico and be their starting defender. He could go to a team in Europe, and for 16p I'm happy to take the kind of long-term gamble on Alan Montes. I also picked up a Necaxa forward who's been playing, Rocero's been playing on the wing recently for Necaxa, so I'm happy to go for these 3 Necaxa cards. I then got an Ismail Assar card. Basically, Crystal Palace are playing Ipswich at home this weekend. So I bought a SAR with market credits because I won some market credits from a box last weekend. So I got this for half price and helps with my Crystal Palace collection. I also picked up an Eddie Nketiah 2 hours ago for 80, I think 5p. So Eddie Nketiah should be playing this weekend because Mateta got injured in the FA Cup with that horrendous head injury, and the manager has said that he's probably not going to play this weekend because he had to go to hospital. He had a head injury, it's quite serious. So Eddie Nketiah I bought as a kind of 1 week punt. He should be playing up front. So I bought Sarr and Eddie Nketiah basically for this one game. Ipswich at home, and Crystal Palace do still have some good fixtures remaining, which is why I've got quite a few Crystal Palace cards. So I bought Sarr because Sarr does play every week now, and I bought Nketiah for a kind of one-off week. Let's see how he does. And I traded for a card I didn't want anymore, and he helps with my West Ham Classic collection. And this is the contender card that I won. Pedro Malheiro plays for Trabzonspor in Turkey, and he's not done great in the last 3 games, but He did have a few high scores here. He got 100 earlier and 95 earlier, a couple of 60s here. So I think when Trabzonspor have got a good game, that could be a good challenger in season for the remainder of the season. And his next game is one of the teams in the relegation zone. So he's got a good game this weekend coming up. So I'm at least hoping he gives me a good score this weekend. Maybe his card goes up in price and I either sell him or keep him as this kind of weird challenger collect in season lineup I'm slowly building that is coming from nowhere, but I quite like it. And I'm not spending any money in challenger in season, but I built this in season team. So I've now got a defender. So let's go Pedro Malheiro. Let's hope Trabzonspor have a really good ending of the season, and he's 23 years old as well, so nice young card who on his day has put some good scores. So I don't mind this card. I don't mind winning this card. It was a tier, I think it's like a tier 3 or tier 4. So yeah, they're the new cards I've been buying and trading and winning since last week's video. Let's finish this week's video by looking at my lineups for the coming weekend. Okay, gang, here we go. These are my lineups for game week 60, the coming weekend. And there's a special cap 250 competition. I love a cap competition. I love it because I've got loads of average cards that fit capped competitions perfectly. So Yeah, I'm going to be going for but I'm going to take both of the capped competitions quite seriously this weekend. All 5 cards should be playing. And Nick Pope has a really low L15. I think his L15 is like... what is his L15? His L15 is 28. His L15 score is 28, so he's perfect for this lineup because it's a little bit of a tricky game. West Ham are kind of in a bit better form right now, but you'd fancy Newcastle to kind of go to West Ham and they could do quite well. They might not concede that many goals. So Nick Pope in this lineup is quite nice because then it allows me to have a few more bigger or higher L15 cards. So I'm going to be going for 2 Arsenal cards, fresh from their Champions League 7-1 win. I'm expecting both of these guys to be in really good confidence. Nwaneri and Rice were both amazing midweek. Both played amazing, so they're both in great form. They're going to Old Trafford, which isn't as scary as it used to be. Manchester United in terrible form. I could see Arsenal kind of full of confidence going to Old Trafford and giving a good account of themselves. So I'm going to be sort of backing these 2 Arsenal guys here. Kike Garcia at Alaves doesn't score well every week, but he's kind of the target forward for Alaves. And if Alaves do well, they've got Villarreal at home, which isn't the easiest fixture, but they need a win. So if they're going to score, Kike Garcia is usually involved in the goals. And captain will be Daniel Munoz. Crystal Palace are playing Ipswich at home. So I'm playing all my Crystal Palace cards everywhere I can. So this is where I'm playing my classic Daniel Munoz card. Then I'm going to be going for Everton. So basically, I've got a lot of Everton cards and I've got a lot of Wolves cards. So I'm going to be backing Everton. Oops. Line up crazy. Oops, just whack my lineup. Let's not go crazy here. Let's get things back on track. Everton, I'm going to be backing in this lineup with Beto captain, Tarkowski and Braithwaite. So with this lineup, I'd kind of hope they keep a clean sheet against Wolves. I don't want that to happen. I want Wolves to win 5-6-0. But if Everton do well, this lineup kind of covers me if Everton do well. And I do expect Everton to win. So if they do win, Tarkowski and Braithwaite, and I've gone for the 2 defenders here because Wolves are going to be without Cunha. Cunha is now suspended. Annoyingly, he was doing so well. He was scoring every week. Got himself sent off last week. So, yeah, no Cunha. So Wolves without their main attacking player makes me think they're going to struggle to score goals. So that's why I've gone for 2 Everton defenders in this lineup. And then Doucouré should be back. He wasn't playing last weekend because his wife gave birth. So congratulations to Doucouré. But he should be back this weekend. So 4 Everton cards and then a Caxa goalkeeper. Then there's a special competition All-Star, which I'm not taking too seriously. DMP goalkeeper here and 4 cards that maybe smash. Monaco defender, because we just can't work out who's going to play for Monaco. Everyone's 50% basically for Monaco. My second All-Star team here is a bit more serious. All 5 should be playing. And the reason why they're in this lineup is they all kind of have goodish fixtures or tricky fixtures, if that makes sense. The good fixtures are Josh Cullen and Santiago Jimenez, but I couldn't find a place in... couldn't put a challenger lineup out this week with 5 starting challenger players because the strikers are injured or suspended. Because of those 2 red cards in challenger last week, it means I can't really play any challenger lineup. So Cullen and Lemina are playing in this lineup where they would play usually probably in a challenger lineup, but they can play this week because he's got Luton at home, Cullen. Nice fixture for Burnley. And Lemina's playing Allianzspor, who are 12th in the league. Galatasaray are top of the league. So that's a nice fixture for Lemina, and I would have liked to play these guys in a kind of contender classic lineup or possibly Lemina in an in-season lineup if I could. But because I can't, I'm going to play them in this all-star lineup with a couple of classic cards who have good fixtures. Santiago Jimenez and Soleil, who's been in great form, Soleil. So all 5 of these cards could do well. So let's see how that does. Then we go to Premier League in season where it's Crystal Palace season. So my number 1 Premier League lineup is this with Dean Henderson, Lacroix. And then I'm going for the 3 attacking Crystal Palace players. It should be Eddie Nketiah as the striker and Sarr and Eze playing behind him. The way Crystal Palace have kind of been playing recently with their formation is 3 at the back, wing backs, 2 midfielders, and then 3 kind of forwards, a striker and 2 kind of number 10s floating around him. So, Eddie Nketiah, I bought him for this week. Should be playing instead of Mateta, who should be injured. Sarr and Eze should be playing behind him. If all 5 play, Ipswich at home, Crystal Palace in good form, Ipswich in bad form, this should do well. So, come on, Crystal Palace. Come on, Eddie Nketiah. Let's see how this lineup does. My second lineup is going to be Nottingham Forest heavy. 4 Forest cards who are playing Manchester City at home. Not quite sure exactly how this game's going to go, but I quite fancy Forest. City aren't great, not in great form. Forest have done quite well usually against the big teams. So, with me having a Forest cards, with me having them at a good collection score, I've got to back Forest in this game, and a Trent Alexander-Arnold will be captain because he's got Southampton at home. I'm slightly worried that Liverpool might be tired after the Champions League game against PSG, and they've also got another game against PSG coming up in after this midweek. So, I'm a little bit worried maybe Liverpool rest Trent. Maybe they rest a few players because it is Southampton at home. They could rest a few players and still win. But with them wanting to keep momentum going, with them wanting to win the Premier League, I'd hope Trent plays and then maybe get subbed off in 60, 70 minutes. So I'll captain him because I can't not play Trent Alexander-Arnold and captain him. I've got him. I'll be so angry if he does play and score well, so I have to play him. So that's going to be team red jerseys. And then my last Premier League in-season team is a bit of a mixed bag. I'm playing 2 Wolves cards because they're at home against Everton. I've got to play the goalkeeper. I'm playing 2 Crystal Palace cards here. So I couldn't fit these Crystal Palace cards in this lineup because I think these 5 cards should be the best 5. So these 2 cards, I think Wharton should be playing because he's been coming back from injury lately, Adam Wharton. And I think one of the Crystal Palace midfielders is suspended. So Wharton should get a game. And Tyreek Mitchell should get a game because he got rested in the FA Cup. So he should be back for the league. So I've gone for these 2 Crystal Palace players who have great fixture. Jose Sarr and Larson I'm playing because with Cunha not playing for Wolves, Larson should start. He's been coming off the bench the last couple of games from his injury. Should start with Cunha not playing and be the kind of focal point for the attack. So Larson I'm going to be playing. And Cole Palmer, Chelsea have Leicester at home. Cole Palmer hasn't been great lately, but I'm hoping he does great this week. I'll captain him in the hope that he finally scores. And with Chelsea playing Leicester at home, my number 1 classic Premier League lineup has to be an all Chelsea lineup with Jorgensen, Cucurella, Fernandes, Nkunku and Neto. This could change depending on how Chelsea do in the Conference League later today. Maybe if, say, a couple of these players start that game and it's a B team lineup, I'll be like, okay, he's not going to want to play them in the league then. So if it's a complete B team lineup, but Neto plays, for example, that probably means Neto won't play in the league. So it all depends how the Chelsea lineup today. So this could change, but it will basically be 5 Chelsea cards. I'll try and gamble on whichever 5 Chelsea cards I can because Leicester at home is a juicy fixture for Chelsea. So Cole Palmer's got to be an in-season captain and I've got to go for 5 in my Division 1 classic team. My second Premier League classic lineup is going to be, again, I've got another Chelsea player here, Reece James. Again, if Reece James plays today, there's no way he's going to play 2 games in 1 week. With his injury record, he won't play. So I'm hoping Reece James doesn't play in the Conference League so that he then plays in the league. If that happens and he doesn't play in the Conference League, I'll captain him because that's a good chance of a clean sheet. Attacking returns also likely. So for now, Reece James is here. Kepa's got a little bit of a tricky fixture with Spurs away. And then these are the 3 City cards that I was telling you about that I'm going to play together and kind of just hope that they all play. Savinho, Nunez and Foden. It's against Forest, so, I don't want them to do well. I'd rather my Forest lineup does well, but this is like a little bit of an insurance policy. If Forest do lose and City play really well, hopefully these 3 guys are involved. And then I'm going to play a full West Ham stack. It worked for me the other week when they beat whoever they beat. So West Ham are finally playing good. Potter settled in. So I've been really impressed with Souček. Usually when I've been playing my West Ham stacks, I've been playing Bowen, Kilman, Areola and Kudos. But now I'm going to be playing Souček because He's been playing as like a box-to-box midfielder, but he's been getting in the box quite a lot. And he scored last week, and I was quite impressed with him. More impressed with him than I was with Kudos. So I'm going to play Souček this week instead of Kudos. And then James Ward-Prowse. I've been saying on this channel, I love James Ward-Prowse. He got a good score last week. He was involved a lot, taking set pieces. So yeah, James Ward-Prowse is going to be in this lineup. And we're going to hope that West Ham can continue their good form and give Newcastle a shock win. Then we've got this warm-up league. La Liga in season. Full Barcelona stack. Or not full. We've got the Dimitrovic, the Leganes goalkeeper here, because we've not got Szczesny. But we're going to be going for the 4 big hitters from Barcelona. Again, like Liverpool, I'm worried that Barcelona might rest players. But they are top of the league. They do need to win this game as well as needing to win the Champions League game. So I can't really gamble on the B team because I'm hoping they play. Lewandowski was subbed on 60 minutes. So I'm hoping that he's a little bit fresh for this game. Rafinha has to play surely. And then Koundé and Olmo are my big hitters. My second La Liga lineup is going to be the Alaves goalkeeper, which I'm not confident about. I'm not confident about him keeping a clean sheet or even conceding less than 1. Or less than 2. So let's see how Alaves do. But these 4 cards, I'm quietly optimistic about. Alonso's been doing great for Celta recently, and Celta have been keeping some good defensive performances. They've got Leganes at home. So the ideal score for me in this game is 0-0 because I've got the goalkeeper here, Marcos Alonso here. Julian Alvarez is in crazy form. He is just so good. I'm so happy I picked up an Alvarez card a few weeks ago. Yeah, he's in great form. I'm going to captain him. And then I'm going to be going for 2 Sevilla cards. They're away at Sociedad. But my thinking here is Sociedad are not in great form. Have 2 defeats in a row now in the league. They're also playing in the Europa League against Manchester United. So they're not going to be fresh. Whereas Sevilla have a full week's rest. So I'm hoping Sevilla can go to an out-of-form Sociedad team who will be tired after a Europa League game and surprise them. So Saul and Romero will be my guys there. Then I'm going to be going for a bit of a, as we always do with the third team in La Liga in season, we play the DMP goalkeeper and 4 cards to build the XP. Maybe they all smash and we scrape a box or some essence. MLS warm-up league, not worth talking about. Then we go to champion in season where it's Monaco roulette. Will Beereth play? He's 50-50. I have to play him. I have to captain him because if he plays, he could score a couple of goals. Then these 4 cards are 90%. I would like to play Singo. If I could choose which Monaco cards play, I'd play Singo here or Chayo Henrique because they have more of a higher ceiling in terms of Sorare scores. And I'd play Kamara here because, again, he's more reliable than Minamino. But because Kamara didn't start last week, and I've seen lineup prediction scores where Kamara's not nailed on to play this game, but Minamino is. I'm going to be going for Minamino and Akliouche because they're the guys that should be starting, but I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with having to guess Monaco's starting lineup. It's so hard, but let's see if these 5 guys play. Then my second champion in-season team is going to be a Premier League rejects that I don't think are good enough to be in the Premier League in-season lineups, but could all do well. Robinson on his day can get an assist. Murphy is kind of an insurance policy against my West Ham stack. If West Ham don't do well, Murphy could do well. And also, Anthony Gordon is suspended for Newcastle. So Murphy might have more of a kind of they might rely on Murphy a little bit more to be the kind of creative winger to supply Isaac instead of Gordon. So that's my thinking for Murphy. And then I've got 2 Spurs guys here because they're at home to Bournemouth. And Bournemouth have been a little bit shaky at the moment. So I could see Spurs doing well here. So Johnson and Bentancur. I'm not certain Ben Johnson will start, but he's been doing well lately. And even if he comes off the bench, he's quite lively. So Brennan Johnson here will be playing. I also got a third lineup that not serious. Then we go to Challenger where we can't put any lineups out apart from a warm-up league. Contender, we can do. Contender in season. So the in-season team that I'm kind of thinking will do the best or should do the best will be this one with 3 Necaxa cards. They've got an okay fixture. Toluca away isn't the easiest fixture, but I've not gone for any of the defenders because I don't think Necaxa will keep a clean sheet here. I think it will be a tricky game. But the way Necaxa are playing, they're playing quite attacking. So even if they lose, they could still score a couple of goals. And if they do, these are the 3 cards that are most likely to be involved in the goals. I'm going to be putting the Santos goalkeeper in here because all my goalkeepers seem to have tricky fixtures this week. And Santos are the only team that are at home and are playing at Leon, which is kind of like a better fixture than on any of my other goalkeepers. So I'm going to have to play him here. And then Tigres have got a nice fixture. I would like the Tigres goalkeeper, but I don't know. I don't know about getting him. He's 38 years old. I just don't like the idea of buying him when I know there's rumours he might be his last season. And yeah, so Santos goalkeeper and Angulo will be playing here. Angulo, it's a good game for Angulo. Slightly worried that some of the Mexican teams have played in the CONCACAF Champions Cup this midweek. So again, there could be some surprise restings. But a bit like how I can't really think that with Liverpool and Man City and Barcelona, I have to kind of be like that with my Liga MX cards as well. So on paper, these are my 5 best cards. Second best team is an Atlas. So I'm going to go with 4 Atlas cards. They've got a bit of a tricky game away at Tijuana, but on their day, Atlas can play well. So I'm going to be going for 4 Atlas cards. And then Adrissi, who I've just seen, is 10%. Not sure why, so I need to investigate why. Adrissi might need to be replaced with possibly Rabic. So I've got 2 strikers in this classic team. He's the in-season one, so although this is a classic card, so I might replace Adrissi. I'll have to research why Adrissi's 10%, but maybe there's a different classic card here. My classic team is going to be Piovi, Necaxa goalkeeper, Brunetta, Sancris, and Rebic. Then we're going to go for a Santos heavy lineup here. 4 Santos cards. Oh, wait, Vergara's not a Santos, but he's wearing a Santos shirt. Santos are playing Leon at home, which I'm quietly confident about. So Santos might surprise a few people here. Castan Miner's been in really bad form. That's why he's this far down in my lineups. He used to be my go-to contender goalkeeper, but they've not been in great form. Some bad scores from him lately, so he's dropped down to this lineup. And my last lineup is an under-23 lineup where quietly confident about this under-23 lineup. This is my new boy, my new challenger defender, who we just won. He's playing Hatay Spor Kulubu, who are 18th in the league, so a nice home fixture for him. So let's see if he can, his debut for AFC Amreezy, let's see how he does. And then 4 cards who should be playing. Carlos Martin, I'm not overly confident about, but I didn't have a lot of good under-23 strikers, so he's going to have to play. And then Obed, Stukas, and Alvarez should all do well. And that is me for this week. So let me know in the comments what you think, how you think my lineups are doing. If you've got any inside advice or any cards I should be buying, I always like that kind of advice. Give the video a like and subscribe. Helps me out massively, guys. I'll see you next week or on Monday's Premier League video if you can join me for that. But I'll see you next week on Thursday for my Road to Sorare Boss episode. Good luck with your coming Game Week 60s. Peace.